In this video, I'm going to explain to you why having a mentor is one of the most critical pieces of my success and why I think you need a mentor if you want to be successful. I'm also going to share a little bit about how and where to find a mentor. That way you can actually move forward in your life. So, life is all about asking for help, learning from somebody, getting up to another level, and then looking down and helping somebody else back up with you and repeating the cycle. One common misconception is that successful people don't want to help people who aren't successful, and they hoard all of this knowledge. Like,
Ha ha ha! I'm gonna hoard all of this knowledge and keep it from everybody for myself.
okay, that's not how it goes. That could not be further from the truth. Successful people actually really want to help people. However, they're not sitting around thinking,
how can I go out of my way to show somebody that they can be, so much better?
It doesn't work like that either, because typically when somebody is unsuccessful or in poverty or whatever you want to call it, they are having thoughts that keep them in that position. So I have so many times tried to help friends level up in their life, but because they subconsciously have all of these beliefs that it's not possible, they don't even try. So you can help somebody, but at the end of the day, it's trying to get a fish to go play basketball. It's just not going to happen until that subconscious work is kind of put in. For instance, if you want to learn how to fly a plane, you go up with an instructor. The instructor teaches you all this stuff. They mentor you through, hours and hours and hours learning how to fly. They really show you everything that you need to know to do that successfully, and then you go off on your own. Imagine trying to fly a plane right now with no knowledge of flying a plane and nobody telling you how to do it.
Oh my word!
Well, that's how life is. So don't try to fly a plane without learning from somebody who knows how to fly a plane. Make sense? All right. So I want to tell you the story of how I went from basically a young stoner douchebag to now, when I'm 30 years old, millionaire, successful, happy, all because I had mentor after mentor after mentor, and I continuously receiving mentorship from people, but also giving mentorship to people once I level up. Again, life is all about leveling up because you had a mentor, and then mentoring somebody and leveling them up as well, and continuing that cycle. So I was about 17, 18 years old, and I was living in a small city called Medford, Oregon. Now, I was a stoner douchebag hanging out with other stoner douchebags, as most 18-year-olds kind of do.
I love weed.
But I had never had a real job. I had worked at like a convenience store, McDonald's. I worked at Liberty Tax. I literally dressed up as the Statue of Liberty and held a sign on the street to make money. That's crazy when I think about it, but that's the only way that I knew how to make money until I got a mentor. One day I was walking through the mall with my friends because literally had nothing else to do. We're joking around and just being young idiots. We walk by this kiosk called Solaris, and they sold cell phone cases. And there were two guys behind the counter, and I jokingly, in passing, said,
Hey man, can I have a job?
and the guy turned at me and was like, yeah, you know what? You cut your hair, you come in clean shaven tomorrow, I'll give you an interview, we'll go from there. I was blown away, but this actually led to me getting that job.
Oh my God! Wow! Oh my God.
I didn't realize it, but I had just leveled up. So through this job, I got to learn from the owner, who was a mid-20s entrepreneur that had about 15 of these franchises, kiosks in the mall. He had a mini empire going. What I learned in that job was how to sell, a lot about business. I learned a lot about people and how to get over people telling you no. When you're working at a kiosk in the mall, you face rejection all day. You kind of have to pull them in. It's an art. I learned a lot about human psychology, how to sell, and a little bit about business through this job. This entrepreneur named Ryan, who owned these Solaris franchises, I got to watch him build and grow this little mini empire, and he was making a lot of money. Fast forward to when I'm 20 years old, I quit. Actually, I got fired from that job, went through a breakup. So I moved back to Boston with this mindset of, okay, I leveled up from here to here. Now let's go to that next level. I knew that I had to find out how people were making their money. But in Boston, there was a tremendous amount of opportunity. So I literally was like walking around the financial district talking to people like, oh, you work in that big building. Like, what do you do? How do I get into that? And I learned about sales, which I had been in like a retail sales position. I made, four grand a month, $4,500 a month, which I thought was like crazy money then.
Yeah? A fun coupon!
But I'm seeing these guys that a lot of them didn't have college degrees, like me, were very similar to me, that were making hundreds and hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars a year in sales for these companies. So something clicked, and I was like, you know what? I need to just start applying at these companies. So I applied to this company called Beacon Payments. They sold credit card processing, payroll, and financial services to small businesses. And the two owners of Beacon Payments, man, I cannot tell you how impactful that was, having those mentors in my life. I watched Dave and Jerry, the two owners of this company, build this massive empire. And I got to soak up all of this game from them. And because I was willing to learn and I was eager to move forward, they took me under their wings and they wanted to help me with everything that they had.
You show me a pay stub for $72,000 on it, I quit my job right now and I work for you.
Like I said earlier in the video, successful people want to help people, but they can only help people that want to help themselves. You can't force somebody to want to level up their life. Somebody has to want it, and then you can kind of give them that hand up. I mean, while I was working at Beacon Payments, I would literally get in before the morning meeting. I would sit in one of their offices, meaning one of the owner's offices, and I would just literally, while they were working, soak up as much knowledge and game and ask as many questions as I possibly could to pick up as much information as I possibly could. We would have our morning meeting. I would go out to my sales territory where I would go sell all day. We would have to come back for an afternoon meeting, and then after that, while all the other salespeople are gone, I'm sitting in the owner's office, picking their brains, asking them questions, so much where they loved it, but they also were kind of annoyed because like, man, this kid will never get off of my side. But I was constantly learning. I knew that I had to soak up as much as I could from these guys because they were millionaires. They drove Range Rovers, they had brand new houses, they had supercars, they had literally the life that I wanted. So I realized I have to follow the formula that they have. By the way, if you're liking this video, please leave a comment, let me know what you like about it, and don't forget to subscribe and
Smash that like button.
So back to my journey with Beacon Payments. At one point, I realized that I had peaked, right? I was making six figures, good money, comfortable, but I was no longer growing. And I felt like if I wanted to level up next, I had to take some risk and I had to go off on my own. But what I didn't realize was how much of the last few years working at Beacon Payments absolutely transformed me into the entrepreneur that I am today. I mean, all of the time that I sat in Dave and Jerry's office, all of the time that I asked my director of sales all of this stuff, I didn't realize all of these little subconscious seeds that I was planting. But when I started my own business, I moved to California where there was more opportunity. I started my business and I had no idea how much of the stuff that I learned at Beacon Payments was going to be an impact on starting my business. Moved to California, I start my business, and I knew immediately that I had to start getting mentors. I started a marketing company where we sold Facebook ads and other marketing services to businesses. What did I do? I found people that had what I wanted and I watched what they did. So I found mentors in the space. My buddy PJ the email guy. PJ helped me tremendously. He became a mentor to me, and we, in ways, mentor each other even to this day. I started watching guys like Grant Cardone, Gary Vaynerchuk, big guys on YouTube, and I would literally, I didn't do anything except for watch these kind of videos. I ended up meeting guys like Ty Lopez, David Meltzer, and a bunch of other ones, and always consuming their content, meeting them, and asking them questions is what ultimately led me to leveling up every single time. Also, going to networking events, conferences, things like that, getting to rub shoulders with people who are like-minded, people who are headed in the same direction, people who have what you want. So getting mentors is so important. I started finding hyper-successful people like Dan Fulkerson, a lawyer here in San Diego who, when he saw how bad I wanted it and the risk that I took to start my business, he saw that I was willing to take a risk, so he took me under his wing and he showed me everything that I needed to see. He connected me with people. And without these mentors, I would not be where I am today. My business partner now, who bought into 50% of my company, who is one of the reasons why we're doing a couple $1 million a year, he was a mentor of mine before we became business partners. If you're struggling in your life, if you're wanting to level up, if you're a young kid, an old woman, an old guy, whoever you are, you can never not benefit from having a mentor. So once you get some good mentors, once you start leveling up and making more money and you start mentoring more people, you can start to enter what I call the turbo game of personal development, which is pay to play. So I've paid guys like Brad Lee and David Meltzer and other big influencers and entrepreneurs a tremendous amount of money just to spend time with them and learn from them. If you can start getting into the rooms with these bigger guys, all of a sudden you will start to attract yourself to their level because of that mentorship. You know, you start out, you don't have any mentors, you have to find one, and as you level up, you get bigger and better mentors, you become a mentor, and then finally you can enter the pay-to-play space, and then, it will turbocharge your life. So if you're looking to grow your life, you need a mentor. Please, if you want more videos like this, if you got value out of this, drop a comment below. Check out my podcast, Thinking Bigger with Kevin Pheley, here on YouTube or anywhere you can find podcasts. And again, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and go get a mentor. Peace.
Bye.